What's going on, Rick Strom?
What's going on, Jayar Jackson?
Oh, it's just another Tuesday in LA. It's so cold, it's like 62 degrees.
Tell me about it. You have a scarf.
Freezing.
You are a ginormous P-word. All right.
Power guy?
No, Polian guy, actually. So Bill Polian had this to say about Lamar Jackson. As everyone knows, Lamar Jackson won the Heisman Trophy at the University of Louisville. And well, he doesn't think that he can play the quarterback position at the NFL level. Take a look.
Lamar Jackson, speaking of size, quarterback or wide receiver on the next one?
I think wide receiver, exceptional athlete, exceptional ability to make you miss, exceptional acceleration, exceptional instinct with the ball in his hand, and that's rare for wide receivers. That's A, B, and who else? Name me another one who's like that, right? Julio's not even like that. This guy is incredible in the open field and great ability to separate. And again, short and a little bit slight and clearly not the thrower that the other guys are. The accuracy isn't there. Yeah. So I would say, don't wait to make that change. Don't be like the kid from Ohio State and be 29 when you make the change. So,
talking about Terrell Pryor, of course. That's who the latter was. I counted 4 exceptionals. Ball in his hand, exceptional. Well, technically, if you want the ball in his hand, shouldn't he play the position that has the ball in his hand the most, which is quarterback?
Well, I mean, he's also said his accuracy on passing isn't there.
I'm going to show that why that's false in a second.
But okay, so I'll let you go to that.
Okay,
but,
so real quick. Let me show you this. He said he's small, right, for his size. Well, he's 6'3", so we could dispel that. He has been going on the record via SB Nation as saying that Lamar, the Louisville kid in that discussion, in fact, there's a question that he might be a receiver, is what he went on to say. And then he said, no, I'm not kidding you. And that has to do with girth and skill set. I cannot infatuate enough how much I love hearing grown men say girth on ESPN.
Yes.
And then Keyshawn Johnson goes on to say, we can go to it. You're hurting me, Bill. I'm not saying he isn't. I just don't think he's in the class of the 3 others, Rosen, Darnold, Josh Allen. Here's what he said about Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel has magic. If you're in the Browns draft room, you owe it to fans to consider taking him at number 4. Oh. And then he also had this to say about Nick Foles. Take a look at that, and then we shall discuss.
keep in mind this, first and foremost, there's players in the locker room who he helped put rings on their finger, okay? He's not an asset, he's an icon. You better be careful how you handle him.
If I told you 6 months ago I was going to tell you that Bill Polian would call Nick Foles an icon in Philly, oh boy, and I don't think anyone would believe it.
Thank you, Diana, because I was going to say the same exact damn thing. Before I go further, thoughts?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. This is what we will learn about, GMs and owners and head coaches and quarterback coaches and anybody. Sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. So when we take it as like the gold standard because he said so, because he found Peyton Manning, that's just the way it is. I also heard that during the Peyton Manning and his draft with the biggest bust ever, who lost his cool in the locker room. I'm blanking on his name. Who went to the Chargers?
Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf. It was the Ryan Leaf Peyton Manning. The difference of careers, right? They were in the same draft. They were both highly touted quarterbacks, right? They were really good in college. We both know that. So
Peyton Manning was the consensus #1.
Yes, but then people were saying like Ryan Leaf is he's right on. He's the next one, right?
Sure, but Peyton was ahead of him.
No one expected Ryan Leaf's career to be what it was. I remember just after that, I had a friend who was he's like a coach now in high school, so he's those type of guys who will analyze this stuff. And he said, I remember when all went down, there was a test, and I forget what it was called, but there was a test about your ability to perform under pressure mentally, not just physically.
Was it the
and they
Wonder
said,
Lick?
no, it was something else. Something that wasn't used as much.
Okay.
But he said Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf both took that test, and Ryan Leaf failed it astoundingly. And they were like, everyone who paid attention would have known, not he can't throw the ball, not he doesn't know how to make decisions on the football field. He just does, he gets pissed under pressure. And that's what happened to his career. So there's some people who pay attention to some things and some people who don't. So yeah, he found Peyton Manning, but maybe people who knew what they were doing would have found Peyton Manning too. He wasn't the only one who knew Peyton Manning was gonna be great, right? So he was wrong about Manziel. Okay, that's fine. He was right about Peyton Manning. Okay, that's fine. That means you're right and you're wrong sometimes.
He's also wrong about Terrell Owens and Randy Moss, because here's what he said. Which one would you take? Quote, I take neither. First of all, here's my position. I want players who contribute both individually and to the team. T.O.'s situation, his temperament, his ability to contribute to the team was well known up front. He was going to be a problem. We didn't want that. Every year in Indianapolis, he went on to say, we said the following. The price of admission is 100% effort all the time in everything we do. Well, how can we take Randy Moss when we make that statement? It's that simple. I think he looked like a team player when he was in New England. However, let's go to his Indianapolis days, shall we? Jim Irsay told Bob Kravitz of the Indy Star that then Colts GM Bill Polian was at wit's end trying to secure a new deal for Manning, suggested trading the superstar quarterback. We need to trade Peyton Manning. We can get a bunch of defensive players and become like Tampa Bay or Baltimore. Understand something, Bill. We are not trading Peyton Manning. Jim Irsay recalled to Bob Kravitz. Also dispelled Michael Vick, who said Lamar Jackson 5 times better than what I was at Virginia Tech. Enough said. #future. I'm laying out the foundation.
I'm sure Bill
here.
will be like, but Michael Vick, who was that guy? He never did anything in the NFL.
Right.
I didn't pick him. He was garbage.
Look at the temperament of Michael Vick. And they're like, no, dude, that's Marcus, who stepped on an opponent at Virginia Tech. Look, if Michael Vick is saying it, if he thought that he should trade Peyton Manning, could all well and be fine if it potentially occurred and you build a defensive juggernaut, because we've seen defenses win championships before. I'm not saying that it couldn't happen. I'm saying I'm glad that it didn't happen, because Bill Polian would not be a Hall of Famer if it wasn't for Peyton Manning.
Well, okay. So yeah, Bill Polian makes mistakes, and he seems to be a little bit, he has his knowledge and his approach to things, but he also is a little bit emotional. Let's just keep it real. That's how it works. So when he looks at these things, he goes, well, I don't want this kind of energy in our locker room. Go, okay, cool. But sometimes it works if you have the right makeup within your locker room. It's more than just one player. So T.O., everyone had this thought that he just blows up locker rooms.
Right.
But you know what? He goes to NFC Championship games for 2-3 years straight.
And he plays the Super Bowl on a broken leg and still produces.
Just saying. I mean, I get if you don't want to put up with something for the result. Is the guy worth what maybe you think he's going to give you a problem in the locker room with? But I don't think you can just go on the line and say back to Lamar Jackson. He's going to turn to a wide receiver, and that's what he needs to be.
I agree.
We don't know that.
I agree.
Maybe he can, but maybe he won't.
I think Lamar Jackson is actually the sleeper because everyone is looking over him right now in the NFL draft.